How will you? I have politics at home as well.
Politics at work, politics at home. So first thing is there's politics. It's a conversation informs us what you'd like from our perspective.
Is what is the plan? How do you
Up with the idea, tested, unproposed this type of a GST is one tap. So, so the government likes to call this thing GST. It's not a GST. 5 different taxes. It is counterproductive. We're pretty clear. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to reform the GST, and we are going to work. We're going to work to give you one GST, simple GST, with as few. The thing about GST that it leaves out huge chunks of the Indian economy. So some of those things perfectly doable. The conceptual misunderstanding, the Prime Minister and the, frankly, when we were negotiating, we were made to fit, and there was a discussion on what the G. Were pretty clear. Problem. That warned the government again and again and again. We're gonna have a GST, but it's good.
Let's also view.
ಸ್ವಾಯತ್ತ ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳ ಇವರೆಗೆ
Step change. And currently there is a massive monopoly on our banking system. If you look at the names, Mr. Nirav Modi, Mr. Mehul Choksi, Vijay Mallya, Anil Ambani, these names. Mr. Nirav Modi takes 35,000 crores. 35,000 crores. That's the equivalent of 1 year's of Narega money. Takes it, runs away to London, and what does he give back? How many jobs has Mr. Nirav Modi given this? Almost nothing. So our entire structure, banking structure, is captured and controlled by very, very few limited numbers. And I think one has to transform that. One has to change. One has to make banking capital, of course they have a place, because businesses have a place, but they're not going to be producing jobs. The jobs are going to be produced by small and medium businesses, by entrepreneurs. That's a fact. If you look at job production, it comes when small and medium businesses become big businesses. And it comes from this type of. So opening up the banking system to entrepreneurs, to small and medium businesses aggressively, that's something that is fundamental.
First part of his question. what program you wish to put forward that will help his community? I think in terms of Dalit entrepreneurs, in terms of those that are socially,
I mean, you mean social programs or you mean specifically
entrepreneurship?
targeted?
He's not.
I mean, I think helping them with the banking system, helping them with training systems, helping them setting up hubs in connected areas where they can have skill people. Skills are there. There's no shortage of. You might need fine tuning that you need to do to the skill to bring to a corporate position. There's no limit to this. We don't actually utilize this. We don't actually give access to this skill. I'll give you a small example, right? Just off the cuff. We think about vocational training. Hey, listen, we are going to set up a ITI, and now we are going to train, let's say, carpenter. So you have somebody train a whole bunch of. That's the current way of thinking about training. Well, there are millions of carpenters, network of carpenters. They know how to do carpentry. Why don't you use them to train carpenters? Why don't you say to them that, listen, you understand how carpenters are. Go to every carpenter and say, listen, please train 3 carpenters, 5 carpenters, and then have a system of certification of a carpenter. Every time one of the carpenters you've trained gets certified, 200 rupees bank account. You'll train unlimited number of carpenters. Point I'm making is that there are skills networks in this country. Millions of people who absolutely understand what has to be done. But the system doesn't really reach out to them and say, okay, listen, you have this skill now, help us train. Have you ever heard, for example, the government of India saying to carpenters or barbers, listen, we want you to now become an army of trainers? I've never heard it said. So there is a sense in our mind that skill is something that is centralized and that has to be handed out to people. No. There is skill all over this country. It's decentralized. It's operating right now. You have to link. You have to enable that guy. Right? And what is Bangalore? If you look at up over a long period of time, and then that skill connected. That's basically. So what we do with Bangalore, what we did with Bangalore is what we have to do with other people, other hubs of skill. There is no reason. I mean, when you look at, for example, a town in China that produces 90% of the locks that are being sold in the world, what they've essentially done is connected a traditional network of skills with money to the rest of the world and built the whole value chain. That's what we can do it easily. But we have to change our mindset to one of growth only. Got to say, okay, now let's start producing millions and millions of jobs. How do you do that? You can't do it without skills. Then the next step, obviously, find the people, start building those those networks, and the thing. We've had successes, huh? For example, Bangalore is a huge success. If you look at what everybody calls the white revolution, Amul is basically connecting a large number of women in a district in Gujarat called Anand 70 years ago that produced Anand and created, made India #1 milk producer. When you reach out to the skills, it happens. But that's not our default position. In India, generally people don't respect skill. The starting position is they respect power, they don't respect skill.
Gandhi, you mentioned China. China came up many times in many questions were surrounding comparison to growth in China, startup ecosystem. couple of unicorns, $1 billion in value. Every India, we do it approximately now a month. So, it's 5 to 10. A unicorn's not just the measure, but also there's a lot of innovation. There's just a lot of hardware. The question where the China comes up, the latest is with IoT devices, new devices that'll power the digital fabric. IoT is very important, and hardware is very important. Not yet good at that. What do you think for government in terms of hardware policy? Especially startups is very sensitive. Those that want to build IoT.
I mean, I don't think everybody says, oh, China's 10x, ours 20. I don't believe it. We are fundamentally different in China, and you can't measure India the way you measure. So I don't believe that China is miles ahead of us or anything like that. What China has done pretty well is build manufacturing on skills and formalizing it. But India has tremendous capacity, tremendous flexibility that China just does not have. So you can't build a 60,000 man factory in India because of the nature of our democracy and the nature of our ecosystem. But let me tell you, modern manufacturing is flexible manufacturing. Modern manufacturing is going to be small units with a lot of high tech injected in them. That is perfect for India. So it is being open to some of these ideas. Look, when you close your mind, when you have an environment which is angry, when you have an environment where there is tension, anger, viciousness, you don't just close your mind. You close the entire ecosystem. Right? So what is happening today is India's liberal nature, India's open system, India's are being attacked. They are being suppressed. So for us, you have to have an open ecosystem. People have to be ready to talk. People have to be ready to converse. Right? For us, that's the first step. With a bad environment, you're going nowhere. On the specifics, manufacturing, you got to build the basic. You got to build roads. You got to build the architecture that allows goods to be. GST in a proper form is a good way forward. So some of those things are happening.
We have a question on women's entrepreneurship from Kajal Upadhyay here. She's right here. Kajal, question.
Hello. I don't know. I mean, look, I'll tell you how I see it. Apparently now the whole country is a chokidar. That's what I last heard. Everybody's become a chokidar. But let me tell you the facts. And I'll go into a little bit of detail because it's important. The Rafale contract is the biggest defense contract in the world. The biggest defense contract in the world. It was negotiated by the UPA. 8 years of negotiation. It's a very technical contract. 8 years of negotiation. And a couple of things were decided. 526 crores for one aircraft. The aircraft to be manufactured in India, frankly, in Karnataka, right here, by HAL. And when you say, how do you think about competing in manufacturing? Well, one way you compete in manufacturing is get one of the most high-tech products being created on the planet, put it in Bangalore, and then help or build all the ancillaries around it. That's how you do it. Right? It was going to be built by HAL. Now, We changed governments. Mr. Narendra Modi becomes Prime Minister. Check this. He goes to France with Mr. Anil Ambani on the fact government records. Check. The contract is changed. The defense minister turns around and says, I have no idea how this happened. He's at a fish market in Goa. He says, I have no idea how this happened. What we subsequently find is that the 526 crore aircraft has become a 1600 crore. So 126 aircraft were to be bought. Now 36 aircraft are going to be bought, but we're going to pay the same price. And Mr. Anil Ambani suddenly edges into the contract. Now, we're talking about skill here. Mr. Anil Ambani got the world's biggest defense contract. He's never built an aircraft in it. Ever. The company that got the contract, we're talking merit here. The company that got the contract was formed 10 days before the contract was given. The French president publicly states that I was India. I was told by the Prime Minister of India that the only way Dassault is going to get this contract is if Mr. Anil Ambani is given the contract. And oh, by the way, don't pay 500, don't charge 526 crores, charge 1600 crores. The President of France says this. And you can check the internet, it's there. We raised the issue. I asked these 4 questions to the Prime Minister of Parliament House. Why did you give Anil Ambani the contract? Why 1600 crores? What is Mr. Anil Ambani's experience? Mr. Prime Minister doesn't know. 1.5 hours. He looks down, looks up, looks left, looks right, doesn't answer, doesn't look at. And it's a fact. Please look at the tape. He's standing there going like this, like this, like this. He's not answering the question. Okay. The CBI chief turns around and says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to investigate. Remember one thing, the Prime Minister placed that man there. The CBI chief is removed, sacked. The Supreme Court comes in and says, bring him back. He's brought back. He's sacked again. Within a matter of hours. Now, Defense Ministry documents have come in the Hindu newspaper. Take a look at them. There is a series of articles, 3 or 4 articles. It is the negotiating team writing in the document. The negotiating team. Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, has carried out a parallel negotiation with Rafael, with Dassault. It's the negotiating team. Negotiating team is saying the Prime Minister of India has pushed us aside. And the PMO is directly negotiating with the government of France and Dassault. Now, all we said was, let's have an inquiry. Let's have a joint parliamentary committee. Let's check out what happened. And the gentleman who says, I am the chowkidar here, whose name has come in the defense ministry papers, the defense minister said, I don't know anything about this. CBI chief has been sacked. That gentleman turns around and says, no inquiry, no JPC, nothing. Look, it's a simple. Anil Ambani was given 30,000 crores by Mr. Simple as that. And the case is open and shut because even those documents that are saying the Prime Minister is running a parallel negotiation, if those documents become part of an inquiry, Mr. Narendra Modi and Mr. Anil Ambani are going to. Simple as that. Now, my point is, Prime Minister wasn't guilty. Would immediately say, absolutely, let's do an inquiry. 100% an inquiry should be done. This is the Air Force money. I'm the Prime Minister of India. I have done nothing wrong. Have an inquiry. Why is he not having an inquiry? Simple. Oh, my friends in the they're pressurized, they're controlled. So they don't really I can give you a list of defense contracts. Anil Ambani and Mr. One after the other. Only got caught on Rafale, which happened. That's why everybody is चौकीदार और है. Now look, attack the Congress party. Attack the Congress party. He took action. So, fairness fires. Fairness. It went so blatant, so publicly. The Prime Minister, he should have. I'm investigating the people who are responsible. Why is he not? By the way, another thing. Why does the Prime Minister have conversation? Happy to. Absolutely. No. What about what? What said? That's not absolutely wrong to say that the Supreme Court said not say that. 1 second. After that, documents were handed out through the which clearly state defense ministry document that Mr. Narendra personal by any measure that is simple. There's no confusion there. Black and white, open and shut.
Absolutely. I can see. Try and keep running short.
But knowing was in government. But
Akshay Shah had a. Sorry, we're not. Sorry. A lot of questions. There's one question from Ina Ganesh. Ina is a very accomplished girl who's ill in the past, but also now is building healthcare.
yes, in our manifesto, we are thinking about a right. So providing basic minimum health care by population. Our budget. Here, we're also thinking about a minimum guarantee. Nobody in have an income below a certain level. That goes for the poorer. That will be. But I think I think right to health care, powerful thing. Large number.
Run out of time, but I have a couple of personal. One is not born into this. Might you?
We are all in our own ways entrepreneurs. I mean, what he's doing. I don't run a business. Politics. Fast moving. Some ways we are. No, 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 no. Not
You could have been a
engineering.
software engineer.
Not engineering for me. Not good looking. Writer, I can still. And I do write a little.
And then, one last personal question that came in on the wire. A couple of people asked, what is a day like in your life? But, it's the political season now, but a bit about yourself.
Work day.
Or what you do for fun or whatever.
Meeting a lot of people, listening. I get to see very I go to places where a lot of people have opportunity. A lot of people. Oh, I was in Uttarakhand and RPF, RPF, right? Quite come into contact with some, so you can see how they react, comfort, so very deep up in place. Right. Or again. So empathizing with people, I've had that same experience. That case I could think. So it's a lot of those type of conversations. A lot of times, amount of experience want you to. There are multiple people coming. So comes more and more listening. Me, what it's doing, humbling. So you're become start to realize how small you actually are, how big the universe and the world is, and how your impact. So you might think your impact is big, your impact is actually quite small when it comes to the big forces. So it's a very humbling experience. I see it as a journey. So I see it as, okay, I'm on a journey and I try to learn from the journey. That's how I view my life.
Taking that journey theme a little forward, my last question for you is, as you look at the startup ecosystem, India, if I could just, we have no more time. We have no more time right now. Sorry, we have no more time. We have a limited amount of time. Question is about where you see, as we close here, if you could make a few closing comments that summarize your thoughts, the startup ecosystem.
Will come. Yeah. Just 1 second. We'll do it. Huh?
No, I'm sorry, because
Doesn't matter.
I was given a time
sometime,
check.
no problem. Now,
I
what
was
would you
given a
like to
time
say?
check.
I'll take a question here.
And everybody's keen to talk. I know, we have hundreds of questions. Picked as many as we could. That was a varied set of questions that represented all kinds of folks. Okay? Across the board.
Ask.
Okay, he's going to.
Yeah, I know your organization. Yeah, you can have.
Our organization of C. Our governing state. They are giving rosy picture of doing ease of business. I want to give a little case.
Tell me.
There is one organization called KSFC, Karnataka Finance. Last year,
Can you do me a favor? This is a sort of specific question. Come and talk to me once we're done. I'll happily talk to you for 5 minutes and understand.
Fantastic.
fine.
Thank you, Mr. Gandhi. That was most gracious of you and got me off the hook.
No.
I would like you to
My job here is to do that. My job here is to listen.
Very good.
Look, I just want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. First of all, fine. Now, first of all, I want to thank you for what you're doing for the country. One of you, your own way, are working very, very hard and trying to make this country. So I'd like to thank you, bottom of my heart, for what you're doing. I understand that you struggle. I understand that you face an uphill battle, and my doors are open for you in any way I can help. I don't promise you that I'll resolve everything that you bring to me, but my intention will be there to try and help. I think as far as India is concerned, we're on a very positive track. There are very, very powerful things that this country has. Its people, its nature, the way we deal with each other, our technical capability. So I'm pretty optimistic. The only thing I would like to say is that a country which is divided, a country which is angry, a country which is fighting within itself is not going to be. So you have to do your little bit so that this country calms down, doesn't sort of have this sort of very angry feeling to it, and we get back, happily where we were. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Gandhi.
I want to leave you with, first of all, I want to thank Uphill Bank. My doors are open. I don't promise you I'll resolve everything. My intention will be that. I think as far as India is concerned, we're on a positive. There are very, very powerful things. There are very, very powerful things. As the way powerful things are technical. The way very, very powerful things as the way are technical. Pretty optimistic. Only thing that a country which is divided, country which is fighting is not good. You have to do it. Very, very powerful things as the way are technical. Pretty optimistic. Only thing that a country which is divided, country which is fighting. What do you know?